Cavalier faithful, your Cleveland Cavaliers are the 1 seed of the Eastern Conference. A 135-113 victory over the Chicago Bulls seals the deal, moving the Cleveland Cavaliers record to 63-16 and dropping their magic number to clinch the number 1 overall seed in the Eastern Conference to 0. It's Jeffrey, Logan next to me. We're here to react. Mr. Leduc, kick things off with your genuine reaction.
I was just telling Jeffrey before we got on, it kind of makes me, and as corny as it is, a little bit emotional. It's pretty awesome. I mean, when I was brought along to start doing these shows with Jeffrey and Justin, the Cavs sucked. And there was hope. There was a glimmer. Mobley was about to get drafted. There's that first really that year that the Cavaliers started to come back into relevancy, Ricky Rubio days and all that jazz. And we had a lot of fun that year. And we all said it feels like the first step of something special, right? And you go out and get a guy like Donovan Mitchell. And when Donovan Mitchell comes in, then there's more expectations. Then there's disappointments along the way. And there's all those things that come together. There's times where I've been probably unfair to the Cavaliers. There's been times where I think I've been totally fair to the Cavaliers. But ultimately, we've watched this team grow over the last 4 years together, us three, and now they're sitting atop the Eastern Conference. Obviously, the real winners are decided in June, and that is the goal, and that is what we'll continue to strive for. But it's definitely a nice feather in the cap for the Cavaliers and for us fans to see them on top of the Eastern Conference without a guy named LeBron Ramon James. It is pretty exciting. It really is.
For me, honestly, I think it's really just impressive on the level of expectations that this team had this year and still somehow got over the top of that.
Yeah.
I think that, 90% of the fan base, well, maybe I can't speak for everybody, but I think a large majority of the fan base would have been fine with 3rd seed, get another year with a home playoff series. Okay. Atkinson, pretty good, first year as a head coach. You got, you moved, even if you made moves at the deadline, you made moves, had to shuffle some chairs, chemistry, this and that, people getting back on their feet, whatever it may be. To go from basically that being your baseline to 63-16, you're not going to see any of these guys play the rest of the games, which is, I think personally amazing for where this team has been at the past couple of weeks. I know that some people are going to say, well, rest and rust. And that's a conversation that we're going to have. What are they doing in their off time? What are they doing when they're not playing on the basketball court? How does that first game of the first series look like when you know the team you're playing is not going to be in that situation? But you have people hurt. You need to get people healthy. You need to get people up to 100%. Jerome's been out. Mitchell with the injury. I'm sure other people have nagging stuff going on as well. But to be a 1 seed for the first time since 2016, basically the best, bar none, season in Cavalier franchise history, like you said, Logan, without a guy named LeBron James, it's been absolutely epic. I mean, just looking at the record, like 63 wins, like it doesn't even look real, honestly, at the end of the day. Well, I'll say this before, and this is honestly the last, I promise you, this is the last time I'm going to say any of this. Right now, Atkinson, Coach of the Year, Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year, DeAndre Hunter, 6th Man of the Year, in my opinion. Do they give out Most Improved in the NBA? It should be Jerome.
I think
really.
They do. It should be Jerome, but
it should be Jerome. I mean, you can make a case for Garland, whatever else you want to be. I don't think Kobe's winning General Manager of the Year, in my opinion, but who knows? I don't really care about that award. I think that award's kind of stupid anyway. But this is the last time I'm talking about it because I see people, this and that and that. Stop it. The season is over. The season ended. The regular season ended tonight. You achieved the goal. I don't care. I do care. I do care about awards because they are for career building and legacies and how people get into the Hall of Fame. I understand it. If they don't want to give us awards, that's fine. I'll stop taking awards seriously. I'll stop talking about them altogether, and I don't give a damn because you're the number 1 overall seed, and everybody wants the everybody on this roster would trade their individual award, and they're all NBA teams, and they're all defensive teams for a Larry O'Brien trophy. And if you think that that's not the case, I don't know what team you've been watching all year.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Logan.
Real quick, funny note, with this being the game clinching or the 1 seed clinching win that we just got, It makes our predictions battle kind of interesting going into the last week.
Absolutely.
Not knowing who's going to play, and we are in a tight race right now. I don't think we're going to really talk too much about predictions, but just a funny note I thought about them, and we're going to have some interesting conversations down the stretch here. That's unimportant. Back to the Cavaliers. Yeah, rest and rust. That's kind of where I want to start, Jeffrey. I don't know about you, because
Absolutely.
the thing is, a lot of people can say, well, they're well rested, and then they should be ready to go. And then there's the logic of they've been sitting forever and they shouldn't be ready to go. The thing is, I think the play-in, ever since it's been introduced, has made that first round matchup more interesting for the casual NBA fan to watch.
Sure.
Not for a Cavaliers fan playing the 8th seed. I'm talking like any NBA player. Obviously, we know the play-in's been good for competition purposes, but it puts that team who's trying to earn their way into the playoffs into a do or die situation right out of the gate. Are you going to make the playoffs or are you not? And when they do, when they ride that wave of momentum and they come into that first series, they have that extra motivation, that extra rep or two coming into play you. And as a Cavalier, or as the Cavaliers in the 1 seed, they are going to be sitting, they are going to be resting. They're going to have guys that are going to be stepping on that floor probably for the first time in 10 plus days. That's totally possible. And you're going to play a team that's raring to go. And I think that's what's different about the old days. In the old days, it was like, you're the 1 seed, they're the 8 seed, you win in a 4-0 sweep. For one, the overall NBA is far more competitive than it has ever been. At least since I've been watching, since I was a kid. This is the most competitive I've seen the NBA, where even the lowest seeds can kind of sneak up on you. And when they have that extra rep and that extra motivation coming in out of a play-in tournament, I think it does make that first series a little bit more interesting to watch. And I kind of interrupted Jeffrey earlier. He said, what does that first round look like? I bet ugly. I bet that first game kind of looks ugly, but we'll get into predictions and all that jazz once the matchups are decided. But I definitely think there's a bit of a balancing act here down the stretch. And if there's anybody I trust to balance, it's Kenny.
Honestly, it's only a couple of games too, where it's like, you would have liked to clinch it earlier. You would have liked to clinch it a couple of days ago in the game that Don gets hurt, whatever. But to me, I think they're going to be fine because a lot of these guys have gone some games this season without playing. Some of them, Some of them have. It's not like it's totally, a foreign territory. I do think some guys play I'm actually a little bit excited because I think if you see a bump in Dean Wade's minutes these last couple of games, I think that's good for us. I think if you see a bump in Okoro's minutes, I think that's good for us.
Agreed.
For these last couple of games. What I will say here is the pundits will be talking about it. Oh, how we come out of the gates in the first game of the first round. But it's really simple, and it's stuff me and you have talked about because it's kind of been like a to-do list, a priority checklist of things for a couple of weeks with this team. Number 1, can you make your free throws? I need like 10,000 free throws a day from some of these guys. If you're not playing, like you're shooting 10,000 free throws today. Yeah. Sorry, you can't miss these free throws in the playoffs. Free throws are gonna momentum swing you or kill momentum for the other team. And if you miss them, it's a whole different ballgame. If you miss 5, 6, 7 plus free throws in a road game, I don't care who you're playing. It's going to be really hard for you to win.
It's how you close, right? I mean, we talked about it. I meant
absolutely when it matters most.
I prefaced earlier when we first started this podcast, I said the Cavaliers are a young team at the time that was learning how to close games. And I said that was okay. That's fine. They're a good, solid, talented basketball team. They need to learn how to close. And the way you close the very best in the playoffs, I was texting Jeffrey earlier in our group chat, a lot of these games are going to be decided by 10 points or less. Very, very more than likely going to happen. You have absolutely 5 or 6 misses, you're setting it up for an interesting final couple of minutes. And especially down the stretch, when you need to make these free throws in a couple-point game with a couple minutes left, these got to go down. I would say it's crazy to say one of the keys is free throws, but it does kind of feel that way in the playoffs.
It's number 1 for me. Of this team right now, it's number 1.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for about a month. I think for the last month, it felt inevitable that the Cavaliers were going to get the number 1 seed. We had to wait and see that happen.
Yep.
But I think over the stretch of the last month, hasn't been bad basketball. There's definitely been some cracks. And that's what we were talking about is, going into the playoffs, I think they're kind of coasting. It's like, we don't really want to push it. We're not going to try to do anything fancy here. We want to get that number 1 seed and do it at the easiest way we can. But those free throws didn't matter to get the 1 seed. It's going to matter to beat a team in the playoffs.
If I'm Kenny, I'm putting myself in Kenny's shoes. Here's my list. Free throws, number 1. Number 2, I feel like people haven't really talked about this, but I think it's a huge thing. And I believe after tonight we're 7-4 in our last 11, but before tonight we were 6-4, which is really pedestrian hoops for this team and how they played all year. Good basketball nonetheless, but really pedestrian for what they've shown in their track record. But I feel like this last 2.5 weeks, we haven't really managed momentum really good. And people don't really talk about that because it sounds intangible, but no, it's just like, hey, can stabilize your run and continue it going. Don't let we've let some of these other opponents, teams that are not very good, go on these runs, and you're like, I don't like how that looks at all. Yeah, I don't like how the Kings, the Kings score 10, 12 points.
That wasn't fun.
No, I don't like that at all. It happened a little bit tonight. It happened a little bit tonight. The Bulls don't have enough firepower to come back, obviously, but there's points where you're like, yeah, it's a 9-point game, but it was like a 20-point game like 2 minutes ago. Like, what was going on here?
The quick runs. Yeah, you're right.
The quick runs that we're the catalyst of, turning the ball over, missing free throws, taking bad shots on the offensive end. So I got free throws, I got momentum management. I have number 3 is 3-point perimeter defense. I think is going to be a big thing, especially like, to me, that's a Boston conversation more than anything. So I don't really know if Miami, maybe Atlanta, Miami, Orlando, even the Bulls. I don't know if the Bucks,
Detroit,
Indy,
New York.
I don't know if they have enough 3-point shooting to be like, all right, is that going to be a high concern? I have it ranked at 3. And number 4, which I'm actually glad to be saying this, but it's still on the list, but I'm glad to be saying it, is just rebounding the basketball. Those are my top 4 things right now. Yeah. As far as if, before the first round starts, if I'm Kenny Atkinson, this is what I'm talking about every single day with these guys.
Yeah. And you know what? And you can mention all those 4 things all you want. It's also going to come down to how do these guys handle the pressure of being the 1 seed. There is that added pressure. I never felt it when LeBron James was running point, right? No. I think all of us, it was funny. Like, we would go to the playoffs, like, see you in the finals, whoever's in our
4 straight years. We're like, all right, literally tip off night 1 after the first season. We're like, all right, we will see you in the finals.
Yeah. I mean, and we could make it ugly. We could make it easy. We just knew we were going to the finals, right? But I think with this team, who has absolutely risen to many of, if not all occasions this year, like, I do think they're going to be ready to go. But once you get to that 1 seed, the pressure's on, the media's on you. Everyone thinks that you can get upset. How do these guys handle that? I think they'll handle it well, but I do think that's just a variable that gets thrown into everything else that's going on the court, basketball, what happens between the 4 lines. You add the added pressure of being this 1 seed, and to me, good, right? This is a really good thing, not only because of the number 1 seed. And I was talking to my dad the other day. Quick tangent. Talking about those Cavalier teams, now that we're talking about it, we knew we were going to the finals, right? Didn't matter if we finished 1 or 2 or 4.
Nope.
I definitely think Boston is that Cavalier team now. Currently, in the regard that they don't give a crap if Cleveland has home court advantage or is the 1 seed. No. They will coast with their 60 wins, and their only eyes are on the finals, and they are good enough to beat everybody yet again, right? I mean, that is the team. As good as the Cavs have been, Boston is still the team to beat. I think the Cavaliers, I don't think last year I really gave us much of a fighting chance, especially once the injuries happened. This year, I really do think the Cavaliers can beat the Boston Celtics. I'm getting ahead of myself. Obviously, we have to beat a lot of other opponents in the meantime. The Eastern Conference is good.
Yep.
But that's kind of my point. We're kind of like that Isaiah Thomas Boston team. We're not. We're better than them. But my point is the roles have kind of been reversed between Boston and Cleveland. Boston's coasting. We're trying to prove something this year. And I think they're definitely on a collision course if all things go to plan.
Oh, yeah. I'll be curious to just take a quick glance at, the betting markets on open when the playoffs are settled after the play-in, because even out of Oklahoma City and us and Boston, I still would peg Boston as the betting favorites to win the finals again.
The champions.
And there's nothing, there's nothing wrong with that. I think they were hanging out kind of just on super coast mode, and then we stumbled a little bit, and they're like, it could get kind of interesting here, and they've been playing good basketball, obviously, as well. But really quickly here before we wrap up, just to kind of, there's still some of the regular season left to go, but it really is pretty much done for the play-in. So you're gonna have Orlando. I think Orlando and Atlanta are your 7-8 straight up.
Bulls and Heat play tomorrow. That's a big one.
And then the Bulls and Heat are going to be your 9 and 10. So winner of 7-8 gets the 7 seed. The winner of 9 and 10 plays the loser of 7-8. I believe that's how it works.
That's
Does that
exactly
sound
right?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I was gonna say, did that make coherent sense? That's how
Yep.
These teams are not, once again, and this is the prove me wrong year of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I've been ecstatic and gleeful the whole time, but it's going to continue. Logan, me and you both know, regardless of who we play here, there will be a pocket full of people nationally, locally, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, saying that we're going to sweep the first round. We very well might. It's a team that's had a 15-game winning streak twice and a 13-game winning streak. That translates to the playoffs. You have to win 16 games in the playoffs to win the NBA Finals. That's your simple math.
Yep.
I don't know if it's going to, I'm certain it's not going to be that easy. The games are not all going to be that easy. It's pick and choose. It's pick your spots and go and win a game in the playoffs. You saw it last year, especially in that Orlando series, and you saw it even in the game that we beat Boston. It's like, you're not going to sweep everyone. If you think it's going to be 4-0, 4-0, and then we walk in and Boston is playing us in round 1 in Cleveland, if that's the case, I will be head over heels. I could tell you right now, there's a very high likelihood that is not going to happen. Orlando, Atlanta, Chicago, Miami. What are your thoughts with these 4 teams?
Yeah, I mean,
isn't the storybook kind of first round writing, booking of this team is that we play Atlanta and we see LeVert and Niang?
Yeah, and Atlanta is a team that's given us fits the last few years.
They beat us twice this year.
Yeah, they beat us in back-to-back games. They're our second and third loss, I think.
Yep.
I don't have a particular team that I care to play. I know I don't want to play any playoff games in Miami. I never have liked playing in Miami. Not that I fear Miami, but I won't lie. If we have
Miami's
to go
got the best head coach.
Yeah, and they got that's the biggest thing, right? Kenny won't have the coaching advantage. I mean, he might, but I'm saying he won't be an outright favorite in that matchup.
Correct.
Bulls got a good coach in Billy Donovan.
They've been playing good basketball too. They didn't have guys tonight, and we didn't either, but they've been playing good hoops.
And the Magic they just hate us. And we don't really love the Magic, right? I mean, there's a lot of bad blood there. That's not going to be a series for the faint of heart. It goes back to my point last year before the playoffs. I said it's going to be an ugly series, and ugly things usually favor Cleveland. I like us in any of these matchups, but I will say, if you're thinking sweep, if anybody's thinking sweep, I don't see it personally. And I don't want to have this idea of survive in advance, because that's no good. I want it to be more like a prove it in advance. You're better than this team. Prove it, advance, right? However you have to do it, however many games it takes, however many points you win by each ball game, prove it. And I think the Cavaliers, like I said, they've been proving me wrong this year. I didn't have as high of aspirations for this season. I obviously we might be spoiled because my aspirations were Eastern Conference Finals. It's that's still a high aspiration to grab at. True, and top 3 seed, I think is what I was saying beginning of the year.
Have a competitive series with Boston. I mean, it's been the same all year, regardless of where. I know, all right, it's the 1 seed. We're going to celebrate. It's been awesome. The winning streaks, the accolades that could be coming. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Don't take it for hey, these 2 guys are sitting here being ungrateful. But really, since tip-off on night 1, the expectations have not changed. And we've said this all year long, regardless of where you end up in the seeding, your end goal is to be in a competitive Eastern Conference Finals series with the Boston Celtics. You can't really ask for much more.
And I think they'll get there. I do feel good about this basketball team. I feel good about any matchup. And you know what? It's really because it's Kenny Atkinson. I'm just going to say it. I mean, that guy just gives me some kind of calming presence at all times, that when things go wrong, I know he's going to adjust. What he did this year, people can talk about how JB didn't have a very healthy Cavs team last year, and that's true. It is. But the greatest thing that Kenny did, aside from the mastermind,
also,
it could be, right? The other part of it is that beyond the mastermind that he is, the way he runs the offense, getting Garland to have the confidence to shoot 10 triples a game, getting Mobley the confidence to take that next leap and be more of a ball in hands kind of guy. Beyond all that, he is oh my gosh, I lost my point. I'm going to get it. It's going to come back to me. But beyond all that, there we go. He played these guys minimal minutes.
Perfectly.
I mean, truly wizardry that he did to keep these guys healthy, keep these guys right, keep them playing on a consistent basis.
And some of them are still hurt, in all fairness.
Yep. And everybody has nagging injuries at this point. Like we said, I'm sure there's people that are just sitting there dying to have this rest before the playoffs right now. Nonetheless, I think Kenny has just done a masterful job in his first year. And, now it's time to prove it. I don't know if that's I don't know what the slogan's going to be this year for the Cavaliers. Is it just going to be let them know? Is it going to be, I would love to go back to all in. I loved all in.
Defend the land, anything really.
Defend the land. I mean, my personal one is just simply prove it. I mean, you've done everything right in the regular season.
Yep.
The stock for the Cavaliers is way up right now. A lot of people have bought into what Cleveland has built. Prove it.
Honestly, my last point here before I throw it to you for final thoughts, just replicate tonight and replicate these box scores you've been putting up all year. Yeah. Garland with 28, Mobley with 21, Jerome with 18, Hunter with 17, Jarrett Allen with 12, Strus 9, Merrill 9, Wade 9, 135 points.
You'll win most games.
You're not going to beat us if Wade and Merrill and Strus have 9 each. Yeah. If you have 18, if you have any combination of 18 from Wade and Merrill, you are not going to win a game against us.
Yeah, sorry. Jerome and Hunter are two guys that could absolutely start on many basketball teams.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. And those are two guys off the bench. That's the biggest difference.
I think Hunter should start on this team. Well, people can disagree about that.
And he totally should. He totally could. I just love the idea that when we go to our first couple subs of the game, we're not really losing a step when Jerome and Hunter step on the floor.
I hear the argument. I just in a series against Boston, if you don't have Hunter out there,
Hunter's a Boston guy. I agree.
If you just some of these, you can't get into a deficit in these playoff games, even against lesser opponents. You can't really go down 15 points in a playoff game. Just doesn't. This team actually can. This team, I think, actually could be the exception. They can. And Boston can too. And any team that LeBron has been on his career can. And obviously, the greats can. And to be fair, we don't have an NBA great on this roster. Donovan Mitchell is a really good player. He's not. I'm talking top, and in all fairness, neither is Boston. Is Jason Tatum when I was a top 10, top 5 player of all time? I don't think so. But
he's great. He's great. Don't get me wrong.
They have a Missoula. They have Jalen Brown. They have pieces. They have these guys. Obviously, LeBron, Jordan, all those people. You could go down and come back and win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Cavs clinch a 1 seed, 135-113 victory over the Chicago Bulls, 63-16. Logan, sign us off here before we head out.
It's exciting. I know we're going to have a video to kind of preview the playoffs eventually down the road. Hype video's on its way. Currently working on it. Having some fun with it. I'll give you a little clue on the song. I hope the Cavaliers do things their way, is all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I think I want them to, that's so corny. Anyway, congratulations to the Cavaliers. Congratulations to all Cleveland fans everywhere. We have stuff to be happy about in the city of Cleveland. And the Cavaliers seem to be that saving grace. Whenever things go wrong with our other sports teams, they find a way to, catapult all of our moods. But truly, a masterful job by Kenny Atkinson. Got to give Kobe Altman his kudos, keeping with this team and trusting in this team, even if not all of us, including myself at times, maybe didn't. But hey, we're here now, and it's all about proving it. I'm really excited to see if they can do just that.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Shout out to the guys. Shout out to Kenny Atkinson. Shout out to you guys watching. Thanks for clicking on the video. We appreciate you being the pulse of it all. Peace.